If you're a fan of zombies and the dark atmosphere of a post-apocalyptic world, get ready. In this video, we're diving into the best games of this genre, ones that test every nerve and make anyone feel the weight of survival. Picture yourself cornered, with scarce resources, trying to decide whether to run or fight as the tension grows with every step. These games stand out not just for their suspense, but for creating situations where every choice is a gamble between life and death, and danger is your constant companion. This is Jack speaking, and if you're new here, welcome to the Play Hunters channel. I bring daily content, so you don't miss any detail in the gaming world. If you could subscribe to help me grow, I'd be thrilled, gamer to gamer. Kicking off our list, The Last of Us emerges as one of the most impactful survival games set in an apocalyptic world. This classic gained renown for the realism with which it presents a devastated world, creating a tense and immersive atmosphere that draws players into a heavy and emotional narrative. The attention to detail makes each setting feel like its own universe, with soundtracks and visual effects that intensify the suspense. Playing this game is like feeling the urgency of survival in a world where every corner hides a new threat. Throughout the gameplay, the game allows players to explore vast environments and interact with the remnants of civilization. It's not just about defeating infected creatures, but making strategic decisions, conserving resources, and searching every nook for useful items. The combat mechanics are visceral, keeping players constantly on alert since the sound of a single gunshot can attract a horde of enemies. With the upgrade and crafting system, the game invites players to get creative in handling challenges in unique, personalized ways. With a deeply engaging narrative, the game delivers a survival experience that goes beyond combat and action. The storyline unfolds with such intensity that players become fully immersed, eager to discover the next developments, and feel compelled to protect their allies. This combination of story and gameplay continues to attract players worldwide, solidifying the game as a benchmark in the genre. Next, we have Resident Evil 4 Remake, a reimagining that transformed a horror classic into one of the most electrifying and well-executed games today. With stunning graphics and an atmosphere that oozes tension, the game places players in a hostile environment surrounded by sinister inhabitants and constant challenges. With each new area, the intensity rises, bringing cinematic action scenes and scares that appear when least expected. In this remake, combat has been revitalized with more polished, modern mechanics. Players need to think quickly and adapt their strategy, as each encounter demands heightened attention and precision. The customizable weapon system, which can be upgraded, elevates the level of challenge, allowing players to tailor their tactics as they progress. The enemy AI surprises with unpredictable attacks, making each encounter memorable. This reimagining was done with care, preserving the essence that marked a generation while innovating in critical areas of the horror genre. With an engaging storyline and a dynamic game rhythm, this work brings horror at its best, causing even veteran players to shiver as they advance through dark and unknown stages. In third place, Resident Evil 2 Remake offers a triumphant return to survival horror, redefining a classic horror game. Unlike the fourth entry in the series, which leans more toward action, this remake strongly embraces terror, immersing players in an atmosphere of constant fear. With refined graphics and a carefully dark setting, the game envelopes players in a sense of perpetual threat as they explore the darkened corridors of a ravaged city. Every detail, from mysterious sounds to strategic lighting, contributes to the atmosphere, making anyone think twice before opening a door. With a revamped combat system and enhanced exploration mechanics, the remake delivers gameplay that demands quick and strategic decisions. The movement of enemies is unpredictable, forcing players to plan each step and manage resources carefully. Weapons can be upgraded and customized to fight creatures more effectively, keeping players vigilant and encouraging a cautious approach in every battle. By rebuilding the original game, the developers managed to preserve its essence while modernizing it where necessary to make it relevant. The intense, mystery-laden narrative guides players on a harrowing journey, keeping alive the identity that made the game a cornerstone of the genre. Next, Dead Space Remake reemerges, bringing back the space horror that terrified a generation. In this game, players find themselves trapped on an abandoned spaceship in the middle of space, where each corridor hides something worse than the last. The suffocating atmosphere is amplified by the eerie silence and sudden noises, creating an almost unbearable, suspenseful setting. It's an invitation to plunge into claustrophobic terror, where danger seems to lurk around every corner. The gameplay has been modernized without losing the essence that made the original so captivating. The combat system stands out for its creativity, allowing players to use ship tools and equipment as improvised weapons against the horrors surrounding them. The ability to dismember enemies with precision, targeting specific points, adds a level of strategy that few horror games offer, making each encounter tense and unique. This new version of the classic retains everything that made the original a milestone, while adding cutting-edge visual and sound improvements. This combination keeps players constantly on edge, attentive to sounds echoing down empty corridors and the smallest details that might hint at new danger. In fifth place, we have Days Gone, a game that takes players into an open, devastated world filled with unpredictable threats. In this post-apocalyptic setting, the sense of insecurity is constant, as creatures and rival groups appear unexpectedly, making each journey a risk. The atmosphere is incredibly well-crafted, with dense forests, abandoned roads, and small settlements conveying a world overtaken by chaos. The game encourages a strategic approach where resource management is crucial. Weapons and motorcycle fuel, essential for covering long distances, need to be used cautiously, adding a constant level of tension. Every encounter requires players to adapt quickly, whether opting for direct combat or fleeing, depending on the situation and the number of enemies lurking. With a plot full of twists, the game offers a narrative that delves into the protagonist's personal challenges and how he faces a destroyed world. The combination of exploration, combat, and tension creates an engaging pace, where players feel survival is always at stake. Next, 7 Days to Die presents a unique proposition for survival game fans, blending building and exploration in a post-apocalyptic setting. Players face an intense day and night cycle, where each dawn is a chance to strengthen defenses and gather resources before nightfall brings increasingly dangerous hordes. The game emphasizes the urgency of building a solid base, knowing that each attack will be tougher than the last. Beyond resource management, players must explore a vast, secret-filled map, searching for everything from food and water to parts for upgrading weapons and tools. Each day brings greater threats, requiring constant planning and quick adaptation. The crafting elements add a strategic layer, allowing players to improvise traps and barricades to defend what they've worked hard to build. The tension builds as days pass, creating a unique sense of urgency where survival is the ultimate goal. The blend of building, combat, and exploration makes the journey dynamic and unpredictable, keeping players on the edge of their seats for the next big challenge. In seventh place, Dying Light brings an innovative approach by combining a zombie apocalypse with parkour in an open world. The urban setting is full of obstacles, allowing players to navigate streets, rooftops, and alleys with agility as they escape hostile creatures. The gameplay stands out for its dynamism, where scaling walls and jumping between buildings is essential for surviving the dangers lurking around every corner, especially when night falls and movement becomes much riskier. During the day, players can explore and gather resources with relative safety, but at night, reduced visibility increases the risk and makes escaping enemies more challenging. The combat system allows the use of improvised weapons, which can be crafted and upgraded using materials found throughout the map, giving players strategic freedom in each encounter. The alternation between day and night adds an engaging rhythm, where players must plan each move carefully to avoid being caught off guard. This cycle turns the urban setting into a true battlefield, where danger looms and adrenaline becomes constant, challenging players to explore even further. In 8th place, Killing Floor 2 focuses on intense action and endless hordes of enemies in breathtaking settings. Players join a team in frantic combat against a rising wave of mutant creatures that defy all expectations. The chaotic atmosphere and impressive graphics make each match full of tension and adrenaline. The class system allows players to choose their own combat style, whether using long-range weapons or riskier close combat attacks. Each class has unique abilities, making each match distinctive and challenging, especially as creatures appear in swarms and teamwork becomes essential for survival, particularly at higher difficulty levels. With each round, enemies grow stronger, and the pressure mounts, keeping players constantly on alert. This constant progression, combined with the ability to customize weapons and abilities, makes each match unpredictable and addictive. With a blend of fast-paced combat and a dose of strategy, the game stands out as one of the best options for fans of cooperative action in the genre. In 9th place, Left 4 Dead 2 is a true classic of cooperative survival games. With a fast-paced rhythm, it pits 4 players in a constant battle to cross infested areas, where each corner can hide a new surprise. The chaotic atmosphere and constant sense of danger make every match a race for survival, where no one can afford to fall behind. The unique aspect lies in the AI, which adapts the number and type of enemies based on player performance, keeping the challenge balanced. Each mission is filled with unexpected moments, requiring players to support each other to overcome increasingly difficult situations. The variety of weapons and items allows each player to find their own combat style, adding a personal touch to the cooperative experience. With a progression full of tension and unpredictability, the game delivers a dynamic that attracts both veterans and new players. Cooperative action and the need for constant communication make each match unique, providing moments of pure adrenaline and group fun. In 10th place, The Walking Dead stands out for bringing a unique narrative approach to the survival game universe. Unlike action-focused games, this game explores the human side of the apocalypse, placing players in tough decisions that affect the storyline. Each choice has unpredictable consequences, creating a deep sense of involvement with the characters and their dilemmas. The plot unfolds in chapters, where players must make decisions at critical moments, often between life and death. These choices impact relationships among characters, making each interaction meaningful and weighty. The tension lies not only in external dangers but also in alliances and conflicts within the group, creating a climate of constant uncertainty. The blend of engaging storytelling and emotional choices turns the game into a true psychological journey through the apocalypse. With each chapter, players are confronted with new situations that make them question their decisions, offering a unique perspective on what it takes to survive in a desolate world. In 11th place, Dead Island 2 transports players to an apocalypse set in a chaotic version of California, where danger lurks around every corner. The sunny, vibrant setting contrasts sharply with the devastation, creating a unique and unexpected atmosphere for the genre. The detailed graphics and visual style add a touch of irony by placing an apocalypse in such a paradise-like location. The game offers a combat system focused on improvised weapons, allowing players to use anything they find to face the threats around them. From ranged weapons to household tools, the variety ensures that each encounter is different, with challenges that require constant adaptation. The melee combat is visceral, putting players in intense situations that demand agility and precision. As players explore the devastated areas, they encounter various missions and quirky characters, adding a hint of dark humor to the narrative. The combination of action and exploration in open environments makes each gaming session an unpredictable adventure, where surprises await at every turn. In 12th place, State of Decay 2 offers a community-centered survival gameplay, placing players in charge of a group trying to thrive in a world overcome by chaos. The mission is not just about survival. Players must manage resources, strengthen the base, and make decisions that affect the entire community. The environment is hostile and full of challenges requiring both combat skills and leadership. The base-building mechanics allow players to customize and expand their refuge, from upgrading defenses to creating farming and shelter areas for the group. Each character has unique skills and traits, making their interactions essential for progress and community protection. The constant search for supplies and new survivors adds a strategic layer, as every choice has consequences. This blend of management and action creates an immersive atmosphere where each decision carries weight. The game challenges players to balance combat against external threats with the community's needs, making survival a collective effort and adding a dynamic that keeps interest high with each new mission. In 13th place, Dead Rising places players in a shopping mall teeming with threats during an apocalypse with a touch of dark humor. Known for its creative freedom, the game lets players use almost any object as a weapon, from baseball bats to kitchen utensils. This variety adds a lighter tone to the adventure, even with the chaotic environment and constant danger lurking in every corridor. The time-limited system introduces a unique tension, forcing players to balance exploring the mall and completing objectives within tight deadlines. Each decision must be quick and precise, especially as the enemies grow in number. Creativity in combat is rewarded, and the ability to improvise with found items makes the game dynamic and unpredictable. The mall's enclosed setting turns each area into a new challenge, requiring players to constantly adapt to face threats around every corner. The combination of humor and intense action makes Dead Rising a unique and memorable gameplay in the survival genre. In 14th place, we have Sons of the Forest, a survival game that takes players to a remote island where danger comes from both the creatures and the hostile environment. With realistic graphics and an atmosphere of isolation, the game creates a constant feeling of vigilance, where any sound might signal a new threat. The dense, mystery-filled forest makes each exploration unpredictable, reinforcing the tense atmosphere. Resources found are essential for survival, and players must use them wisely to build shelters and defensive tools. The game emphasizes collecting and managing items, with a crafting system that lets players improvise weapons and equipment from materials found on the island. This mechanic encourages careful exploration, as each new item can make a difference in an unexpected encounter. Interaction with the environment is deep, and weather changes directly affect gameplay, adding another layer of difficulty. The combination of natural challenges and hostile creatures makes Sons of the Forest an intense journey where survival depends on the player's skill in adapting to the unknown. In 15th place, Resident Evil 7 shifts the genre with its first-person perspective, enhancing immersion and psychological horror. Players find themselves in an isolated house, surrounded by a claustrophobic, dark atmosphere, where every echoing sound heightens the fear of encountering something terrifying lurking in the shadows. The environment is filled with details that create a constant sense of vulnerability and tension. The exploration system focuses on solving puzzles and finding essential items to progress, requiring extra attention in each room. Enemies appear unexpectedly, and with limited ammunition, players must carefully choose when to fight or flee. The difficulty of finding supplies increases suspense, forcing strategic decisions in every encounter. As the plot unfolds, players face disturbing revelations that intensify the challenge even further. The combination of psychological horror and adrenaline-pumping moments makes this experience a standout in survival horror, bringing a fresh perspective to the series. In 16th place, Prey takes players to an abandoned space station where the oppressive environment and isolation are as threatening as the creatures themselves. The setting creates an atmosphere of mystery and distrust, where any object could be hiding a disguised enemy. This single detail intensifies the tension, making every movement calculated and deliberate. The game offers a variety of special abilities, allowing players to adopt different approaches to dealing with threats. Whether using powers or hiding in the station's corners, every choice directly impacts how challenges are faced. The ability to combine skills encourages unique strategies, rewarding creativity in every encounter. The storyline is dense and filled with twists, placing players in a constant state of uncertainty about what's truly happening. The unfamiliar environment and unpredictable threats make Prey an adventure that blends psychological horror with action, keeping players always alert to the next danger. In 17th place, Silent Hill 2 is a classic that explores psychological horror in an unparalleled way, transporting players to a city full of dark secrets and an oppressive atmosphere. The environment is shrouded in fog and silence, creating a sense of isolation that heightens discomfort with each step. The city feels alive, with settings that change unexpectedly, reinforcing the disturbing atmosphere. The game emphasizes exploration and puzzles that require attention and reasoning. When threats appear, they're as enigmatic as the story itself, and players must decide carefully how and when to confront them. Limited resources add a strategic element, forcing players to consider every move and avoid unnecessary confrontations whenever possible. The narrative is filled with symbolism and delves deeply into psychological themes, prompting players to question what is real and what is illusion. This blend of enigma and horror makes Silent Hill a genre-defining experience, inviting players on a haunting, unforgettable journey. In 18th place, The Evil Within immerses players in a world of psychological horror and grotesque environments. The setting is dark and disturbing, forcing players to confront deep fears as they explore a universe where reality is distorted and treacherous. Every detail, from shadows to bizarre creatures, adds to the tense atmosphere and constant sense of insecurity. Gameplay demands caution, with scarce resources and enemies behaving unpredictably, requiring players to carefully plan each move. Strategic use of weapons and the need to improvise in tense situations make each encounter challenging. Here, direct confrontation isn't always the best option, and sometimes fleeing is the wisest choice. The storyline unfolds with intense mysteries, keeping players in a state of constant alert. Throughout the journey, inexplicable events and increasingly dark environments reinforce immersion, leading players to question what is real. This combination of mystery and horror keeps each new area intriguing and maintains a persistent level of tension. In 19th place, The Last of Us Part 2 takes players on a darker, more complex journey than the first game, exploring the consequences of difficult choices in a devastated world. The setting is detailed with post-apocalyptic landscapes that reflect the constant struggle for survival. Each location conveys a sense of desolation, and background sounds make the atmosphere even denser and more realistic. Combat is intense and requires varied strategies, with enemies that adapt dynamically, making each encounter unpredictable. The scarcity of resources is a constant challenge, pushing players to think of alternatives to conserve ammunition and healing items. This dynamic adds a layer of tension, where every move must be carefully calculated to avoid being cornered. The rich, twist-filled story challenges players to reflect on the limits of morality in extreme situations. As the narrative progresses, new characters and dilemmas arise, further complicating everyone's motivations. The emotional storyline and complex relationships create a profound and unforgettable journey, leaving a lasting impact on players even after the story ends. Next, Alan Wake 2 takes players into a dark universe where mystery and the supernatural blend into an immersive plot. The setting is meticulously crafted, creating a landscape filled with shadows and constant tension, where every detail seems to hide something sinister. The suspenseful atmosphere is intensified by the intelligent use of light and darkness, amplifying the fear with every step. Gameplay focuses on exploration and the strategic use of light, which serves as the primary tool to face threats. Each encounter requires timing and precision, as darkness can quickly take over, leaving players vulnerable. Managing resources, like flashlight batteries, adds a sense of urgency that makes each battle challenging and engaging. The intricate narrative, full of unexpected revelations, plunges players into a journey where reality and fantasy intertwine. With complex characters and mysterious settings, the storyline unfolds in a way that ensures a rich, immersive experience for fans of mystery and psychological horror. Now, how many of these apocalyptic worlds have you explored? Each of these games offers something special, from survival tension to intense combat or a story that really stays with you. So, tell me, what was your favorite game on this list? Maybe it was the one that kept you on the edge of your seat for hours, or the one that connected you deeply with the story. And let me know if we missed any essential games that you think should have been included. Share your opinion in the comments and recommend your favorites. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more game discoveries and the latest updates. And for those who want more, I'm leaving a card with a list of 20 upcoming games set to revolutionize the gaming world. Just click to watch. A big hug, and see you tomorrow.